just want to give full disclosure. Whenever I get nervous, I stutter a little bit. So hopefully that doesn't happen because I've talked to you all before. There's really no reason for that, but it's just, I think it's part of the adrenaline. So, okay, so this is
a friendly audience. It's a friendly audience.
Right, exactly. So this is the Communications Committee for the Athens City Commission on Disabilities. And today we have Dr. Carolyn Bailey-Lewis. We have myself, Claire Geisigum. We have Rose Deaconess and Arian Smedley with us. And the first order of business is to approve the minutes from the last meeting. So do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I approve. I move that we approve.
Second.
All right. All right. And to move on to new business, on the agenda, we have additional committee member suggestions. So we're a powerhouse, for 4 people on this committee for sure. But I think it would, be great to have some additional minds if there's anyone that is any names that are coming to you to suggest. I'm going to brainstorm on it a little bit, just with the communications connections that I have within the city of Athens, just doing PR for HapCap. I'm sure there are some people that I can think of, but we were speaking, was it last night or the night before, with the Education and Outreach Committee, where Barry had mentioned, well, I'm just not seeing people, so there's not like a face that comes to mind, which is the exact same thing I'm experiencing. But I don't know if anyone has any suggestions.
Do you have any contacts, or do any of us have any contacts with OU public relations professors? Because I know that's always helped me before. Someone will say, I know someone who would be so excited to get the resume experience. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That would be my only suggestion, would be a nameless someone who's looking for experience.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
You probably know the name of George Malsey. Worked in communications at the university for a long time, and I think he is one of the ones who might have been laid off. He got all the PR out and the releases out for the university, is very good with PR and writing. So I know him very well, and if you all agree, I'll contact him and see if he's interested.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
The name that comes to mind is the events coordinator and public PR officer for Children's Services, Robin Webb. She might, I know she's pretty active, but if she has the bandwidth and has the interest, she might be a good resource as well.
Robin Webb. Okay, good.
Yes, I've worked with her a couple times before. She's fantastic. So yeah, that would be great.
Do you want me to reach out to her? Would you like to, if you have that connection already?
I mean, I can reach out to her. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and like I said, I'm going to do some brainstorming and probably have some additional names for the next meeting. But yeah, this is a really good start. So, okay, and then moving on to old business. And Dr. Lewis, if I'm doing anything, if I'm missing something, just tell me. Yeah.
You're doing fine.
Okay, sure. I'm like, wait, when is there the next motion? So, but. Okay, for old business, we have the ADA 30th anniversary. Just looking back at how the mayor's press conference went and how the articles in the paper went. And I know that WAUB had a podcast that featured David McNally, and then I'm made the best appearance I could at the end. but yeah, I think it aired in a couple segments on WUB over the air, and then it was also available on the web as well. And I think the total runtime is around 30 minutes. But yeah, I thought it was great, the local presence that we had. So
we did really good. Well, but I was going to ask, Carolyn can help remind me of stuff, is that I know previously in the commission, what's happened is we've had good events, but then no one ever wrote them up and got them into a history. And so, I mean, it doesn't have to be fancy, just, did this, and this, and contacted blah, 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 like a one pager. And then now, Carolyn, do you know if we have at this point some history of, it used to be that
Keep talking.
someone kept track of all this stuff, right?
I hear you. I can hear you, Rose.
Can you remember who does that kind of stuff, or do you do it? I
went to get the book right here.
We have a book. Okay.
I've saved the articles, and as far as the chronology of the history, I don't have that, but I do have all the ordinances. We have 3. The original one, July 2000, February 2004, an amendment in July 2014, and then amendment last year, 2019. So, and then we're working on the fourth amendment of the bylaws now.
Well, and
those are all in a notebook and in order under history. So if I get hit by bus, I've got notebooks with Athens City Commission on Disability History and all of these articles.
Right, and so it would seem though that just having, like, I'm imagining like 20 years from now, when someone's saying, okay, how are we going to do the 50th anniversary? And someone will say, well, look, that sounds silly, but somebody will say, well, I can just go and see what was in there for, 2013, 2020.
Yeah, that's there too, Rose. We've got a book on the Athena Award. All of the, those have been nominated. And I think at some point, I'm going to take these books to the mayor's office so that they will, I shouldn't have said if I get that. My daughter heard me say that, she'd faint. But anyway, and she's probably going to watch this too, so I'm sorry, Karen. But anyway, I'll get these at some point when they get full to the mayor's office. We'll just get additional notebooks going.
Right. Well, and then, so Claire, if you could somehow coordinate with them to somehow get the 30th anniversary, because that's a really significant event. To say what we did, and have somebody could look at it in the future.
Right.
And that's what this is, Rose. All the 30th stuff. Everything, even the WUB information. It's there.
Okay, then it's already done, Claire.
It's done. Unless someone wants to do
write that off your to-do list. What a deal. It was done in 14 seconds, right?
Yeah. But pretty much our minutes and all will indicate what happened. So
sure, right. But having that general stuff available right there, it's like wonderful.
Yeah, that's amazing. Is there do you think at some point that it could go into the public library, like a local history section? Because I remember when I was in graduate school and I was doing some work on my capstone film. I needed to find the most obscure articles from 1977 to 1981, and the local library is what saved me. So I'm just wondering if there is a possibility for that. I'm sure that there is. But I could look into that. I don't know if that's something.
Yes, right, exactly.
Good idea.
Sure. And it's not something that we have to move full steam ahead on, but just knowing that the resource is there, I think that could be very helpful.
Well, and if at some point in the future when you say, okay, I could say keeping it in the city, but only if people would know where it was. You know what I mean? Like saying, oh, it's somewhere in here, somewhere.
Right. Okay.
And we had a beautiful proclamation. We have a beautiful proclamation. I don't know if you can see it from the mayor for that day that he proclaimed.
Oh, how beautiful.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anything else for, or any other input for the 30th anniversary? Okay.
Well, thank you, Claire, for all the wonderful articles you got on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. That was, I mean, the resource list from Arizona State. I mean, that was incredible. I'm really hoping to find more resources like that, not only for our social media, but it'll help me with a couple other projects too. So it was very thorough and exactly what we needed. So yes, for the monthly column schedule and letters to the editor, did anyone catch if Cheryl's ran? Was it Cheryl or Barry that had one for July?
Both. I never saw them unless I missed seeing the articles. I haven't seen the letter yet. In fact, maybe I should touch base with Caitlin Thorne, with the messenger, and see. I'll do that and see what's going on.
Sure. Because I see, Rose, you are listed as providing a letter for August, or a column for August.
Right. And I've been working on it so far, but I haven't. I'm thinking, as I thought of this meeting, I thought, well, you really ought to get moving on it. But and part of it is I have a question, and that is one thing that was suggested that I would write about what it was like to be disabled later in life. Okay. Like, and do people still think that's a good approach to take? Like what?
I appreciate that a lot, actually, because I think especially now with COVID, I think a flaw that so many of us have is that we're not able to think of something until it happens to us.
Right.
And just to hear that perspective, I think can be very valuable for so many people that have that kind of insular way of thinking. So yeah, I think.
How many words should I make it?
I wrote a page and about a quarter single spaced.
So that was about 350 words or 400 words?
Maybe about 400 words. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they recommend 400 words.
Yes. Now that's for the letters to the editors, about 400. The columns can be a little bit more than Rose.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So Rose, you could put in there some of your experiences.
Oh, right.
Things that have happened to you and as you've gone along this path, this journey.
Here's my lead in, you guys. If you need a laugh for the morning or the afternoon. 2 days before my accident, when I was doing everything else, I was also the chairman of the Girl Scout cookie drive for my troop. And the only reason I did that was that we just moved back here, and that was the only way I could get my daughter back in her old troop, was to say, okay, I'll be the cookie chairman. And then, like, if you're ever in that situation, I can tell you, you want anything from the world, and you're going to be the cookie chairman, you get it. Well, what I did was, and then I'll let you go, I'm writing about this. I've been writing about it, is I know that one of the problems is that people take their time getting the cookies together and all that. So the deal I made was I called every single troop member, mother, and said, okay, the cookies are coming tomorrow. I will deliver them to your house, and here's the check amount that you have to give me. And of course, they were all so thrilled to not have to do that thing that I had my Girl Scout cookie duties covered in the first day. I mean, within 24 hours of them arriving, it was all done. And then that was Tuesday, and Pete Abele won his election, and that was Tuesday night. And Wednesday morning was the accident. And it's like your world. And thank God none of the kids were with me in the car. But it was 11 o'clock in the morning. I mean, who would think that could happen? But anyway, I'll start getting weepy. But well, when you think about it, is that, like you said, Claire, is you couldn't even imagine anything like that happening to you, to all of a sudden be, it took the jaws of life to get me out, and I was in Columbus in 45 minutes.
Oh my God.
Is that amazing? And yeah, it was, and of course I was unconscious for 2 months. I guess I was talking, but I don't remember anything. I know that's hard to believe. But, I didn't know my children's names and stuff like that, my youngest one's names. I called him Googleman rather than Greg. That was his name before he was born. It was like we just jokingly said, we'll call this one Googleman. But in the beauty of this, and I'll close off with this, is the beauty of this is that his 4th birthday was 2 days after my accident. And of course, you know me, I told everyone about what the party was going to be and where the cake was coming from and all that. Well, my girlfriends got together and threw the party, and there were I've seen pictures of it, the balloons and all that kind of stuff. And of course, that's how Athens is, like
Right.
people take care of each other.
Yeah, I can definitely tell like the theme of community that's going to run through, everything that you write. And yeah, I'm really, really excited to see what you end up writing.
Yes, well, because you get from Athens, I've gotten such gratefulness for being here. Really.
Right.
Seriously. Really, gosh.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you need any input or copywriting, but I can tell you're very detail oriented. So
I've gotten the general outline idea, and so all I have to do is just force myself,
sure,
do the and write in Word, but here's the beauty of it. From talking about it, I feel really inspired.
Good. Okay.
Good. That's good.
Does anyone have any suggestions for later in the year, September, October, November? I imagine October could be a really good time for us to plug the Athena Award. So I don't know if maybe Dr. Smith would want to write something.
He might want to do it for September because the deadline is October 1st.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So, yeah, that would be good.
Okay.
Because he was a recipient last year. Okay. I can ask him.
Okay. And then a letter to the editor. What I would really like to see is tying in voting by mail to just equal access to voting, especially for how beneficial it is for people with disabilities. So I don't know if there's anyone on the commission that would be willing to speak to that. I've been involved with it's been a very small scale campaign with Indivisible Appalachian Ohio about buying stamps to help fuel funds for the post office. But I mean, that's something that I would be willing to do. But I just want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to, vocalize their thoughts on something on that kind of platform before I do it twice in 1 year. So
September might be a good time to do it.
Yeah.
So might be a good time.
Well, what I found out is that just the other day that it's not too early. I mean, I called the city, the county, and they've already sent me my application for absentee ballot. So,
okay.
I mean, and so I think that people may not know that that's already available. And so, I mean,
sure.
We as public service could put that in the newspaper. According to the Disability Commission, you should know that you can apply now. And I mean, really, this is really early. When it came the other day, I thought, this is amazing. It's only August, and it's I imagine we won't get our ballots until November, October. But still, you can ask for them ahead of time.
Right. Yeah. Is there someone on? Oh, go ahead.
I'm just going to say, Anna Corpy, who's on the advocacy committee, is working on a letter right now, a letter to the editor right now about, and I think I copied you all about including children with disabilities in the pods in schools. And that, because I don't know if Sly will be ready to present his letter back to the commission, of course, when he gets back. He'll be back in a few days, I think. And then if you do that if Dr. Smith does September, and you do the one in September on voting, then we'll be covered.
Okay. Sure.
Claire, you're mighty quiet today.
Me?
No, I'm sorry, not Claire. Arian, you're mighty quiet today.
Sorry, what?
You're mighty quiet today, Arian.
Oh, well, I was just going to chime in. Where are we with the census? What's the deadline for that? And if it's, do we have, and if it's far enough out, maybe that could be another topic, given that individuals with disabilities are historically undercounted.
Aren't they supposed to wrap up early? Something happened with that. I'm not sure where.
The president's cutting it off, and there's going to be 60 million people who will be counted, according to the news.
I can look at, well, if we have time, maybe that's an option, another topic. For October's National Disability Employment Awareness Month, so that could be an area we could talk about and write about as well for October.
And
I'm sorry, Claire.
Oh no, that's okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
The committee reports on Wednesday. What you could do is throw out some of these topics and see who on the commission might want to write a letter or a column.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if I could make these suggestions to the commission and see, if there would be anyone interested. And yeah, I think that would be great, because this is just like a parliamentary inquiry. Will I be giving the report for the communications committee to the commission once we meet again? Will I be giving the report like the?
Oh yes, next Wednesday.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yes, next Wednesday.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I can go ahead and suggest it. Sure.
You might also ask for topics. Someone may have something on their mind.
Sure.
That they might want to throw out for us.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and that reminds me, because just in case we can't get, if we have to choose between voting and the census, because the census wraps up on September 30th, which is a month earlier than planned. And what I can do is really focus our social media content on the one that we might have to take a back seat. Ideally, I'll be doing both and giving equal coverage to both, but that's good because, as much as I love sharing the entertainment news and kind of the fluff pieces, I think we're really down to the wire on a lot of social issues right now, especially in regards to voting in the census. So that's going to give me 2 topics to focus on for Facebook, and just a reminder to share whatever might be of interest to your Facebook friends.
Right.
Even if it's just the page itself, just hey, look, take a look at what we're doing here in the city of Athens. But does anyone have any feedback or ideas for our Facebook page?
No, I don't, but I would suggest that you could do a straight news release from us in the A News and at in the Post about those topics too.
Sure. Sure.
It's like you already have their addresses right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can just because as many times as people can see it, it's so important.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And Claire, I'll just echo what's already been stated. It has been nice to see that increased activity on our Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate your work on that.
Oh, great. Thank you.
I can't remember which editorial, which letter it was, but depending on the topic, I'll send them also to the radio stations because I know Dave Palmer will pick up topics and talk about them. And the manager from WEAK contacted me and said, I love to run the full letter, but can you make it a minute? And I'll run the information. So I did. And I was thinking every letter we do, and maybe even column, if we condense it to a minute and send it to both of them, they'll run them.
That's great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking about calling it Disability Speaks Bros, like we used to do with the event we used to do, but it's like Disability Speaks. And of course, we're reading it in the paper, but always so speaks on the radio.
Okay.
That's such a good tagline too.
Yeah.
Disability Speak.
Yes, I love that idea.
Yeah, really.
Okay. All right. And so for the workflow for that, once we receive the columns and the letters to the editor, would we want to divide that up evenly to shorten everything to a minute, or is that something that one person would want to take on? I do have radio writing experience, so that's something that I would not have a problem doing. I don't know if I could commit to all of them, but I'm certainly happy to help out in whatever capacity I can. So
sounds like we have a volunteer.
One thing that would help me would be to hear what you've written for the 1 minute, and I think then people can go out and do, to get the because you have the example.
I can send that.
Yeah, that would be great. And even if it's, maybe we can end up like making a template or something that's just, really easy for people to work with. So, okay.
Thank you.
Materials for mass events. I did see an email from you, Arian, and I don't think I opened it. So,
Don't worry about it.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. I got it to you guys pretty late in the game. It's a first draft of the document we had discussed creating, which would provide some considerations organizers could review when they're planning either a rally or a march. And the considerations obviously would focus on ways to make the event more accessible to individuals with disabilities. It's not very long, so it's essentially a list of a few things to consider, and then followed up with some additional details relating to a few of the bullet points at the top. So it's still very much in draft form. If you guys want to take a look and provide me any feedback, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Do you have any organizations in mind that you could send this to? Because the only one that's like popping into my mind is Athens Revolutionary Socialists. So I wasn't sure if there was if there was any other group that.
Well, so I would think back any group that's hosted a rally or a march in the past year. So that's I don't know if there was an individual organization that was involved with the organizing the Black Lives Matter rally, the Women's March that we had here in Athens. I guess that was more than a year ago, but those are the two that come to mind right now.
Take Back the Night. I mean, that's one, isn't it? Is that still going on? The Take Back the Night. Well, there has to be one person at OU, and I'm going to assume she or he is at Baker Center, who is in charge of giving information to people, because that's, I mean, it may be, I'd call the director's office and somehow find out if they have any listing of people that have marches. But I would say that there's probably just some grand poobah on campus who knows about all this stuff.
And you actually have to get a permit to have an approved event that's a rally or a march. And so I wonder if there's a way either to encourage the police department to share this information with every permit, or if they can't, maybe there's a way that one of us can be notified when a permit is approved, and then we can get in touch ourselves, that kind of thing.
Right. Well, it would be interesting that I'd be willing to bet that somewhere, and I guess the place would just start would be the police department would say, okay, who contacts you to get permits? Is there a specific, person in the government or on campus, and they could tell you what the permit person is, and then you could, if it's ongoing annual marches, then that would be one place to get people to tell them about it, right? I don't know.
Yeah, Arian, would you be willing to reach out to the police department?
Yep, I can do that.
Okay, great. Okay, Rose, I think you froze.
Okay. You have am I okay now?
Now you might need to log out and then log back in. I don't know. Would you be able to do that?
Okay, I'm on.
Maybe she's catching up here.
I think it's Rose. Yeah, I think it's Rose.
Okay. Rose, can you wave?
Oh no! Actually, I'm seeing a white screen, so I'm not with you.
We have you back, though. We can hear you.
Okay, let's see if we can do this.
Okay, so while Rose is getting situated, I have to flip the other one. Oh, any other ideas for the materials for mass events?
The center on campus, I'm trying to think what it's called. It's the Center for Student Engagement.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So we might want to think about them too.
Yeah, like the I was thinking them and the maybe the OU police department, but I don't know if they grant permits. I'm not sure. I don't know how the rules work on campus anymore.
So the Senate, the Graduate Senate, and all those student groups, they will be the ones.
Oh, great. Okay.
That, because a lot will go through them.
Okay.
I can contact Student Senate as well as APD, and get some feedback on what's the best way to get this in the hands of organizers.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Okay, that's great.
Okay.
But yeah, please review that when you have a few, and just let me know what other considerations we should add.
Sure. I think it looks great so far.
Yeah, I did
I think
too.
it's very detailed. So, yes, thank you. And the resource list, I did not send that. I will send it right after the meeting. It's not 100% complete yet because I do have a question about the content. Do we want to focus on the city of Athens, or do we want to focus on Athens County? Because I know that the kind of the inspiration behind this was a man from Nelsonville. And I think, someone from Nelsonville ended up getting in touch with someone from the commission. So, I wasn't sure if the city of Athens would be something that we would want to focus on, or if we want to broaden our approach a little bit to encompass the entire county.
I'm okay with focusing on the county, but at the same time, I understand this is a city commission, so I'm certainly open to other thoughts.
I have a suggestion at the top of the page. Oh.
I think maybe Rose got frozen again.
Yeah.
But you can hear me, can't you?
No,
No.
it's really slow. You might have to sign off and come back in again.
That's what I'm going to do this very minute.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Rose.
Okay.
So I'm sorry. With the resource list, what I have is at the top of the page is a suggestion to call 211, which is for all of Athens County, and they're just like they're the information desk of the entire county, basically. So I have that as a suggestion, and then I have food access, which I concentrated just on the city of Athens. I have transportation, which again, I just concentrated on the city of Athens. What else do I have? I have primary care and mental health, bill assistance, housing. And then the other areas that I have are employment, direct support, furniture and clothing, home repair and home rehabilitation, and legal services. And those are the categories I haven't entirely filled out yet. I can have that done probably by the end of the week. But I can send this in an email, and I'm open to any suggestions and feedback, especially if there is a category that I'm not thinking of, which I'm sure that exists. So does anyone have any thoughts on that immediately, or we could just kind of move that offline to email too, and then I can have that prepared for our next meeting, finalized, that is.
I would just say, Claire, that when you give the report, you mention that too, and there may be other suggestions from the commission on categories. So, okay.
So if I were to flesh this out a little bit more and fill in those last few categories, could I send this to the entire commission, or do we want to finalize it here first?
We'll finalize it first. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. All right.
Just a couple things. I will say that in the chat box from Scott, it was recommended that Rose, you turn off your video. That might help improve your audio. So if you can hear me, that might be a strategy you can try to stay on. And as far as the resource list, Claire, I think that sounds very comprehensive. I can't think of any additional categories off the top of my head, but I think it's off to a good start. So I appreciate that.
another category I'm thinking of too is community or social.
I
think Rose is on the phone with Dr. Lewis.
Okay, and how do I do that?
Is there, Rose, would you be able to mute?
Maybe Scott could do that for us. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
What were you saying? I'm sorry. Something about social?
Yes. Some sort of like social setting. Because I'm thinking of organizations like Passion Works and the Hive, and just those are the gathering place, like those spaces, I guess, that people could kind of find community in. Because granted, I moved here as part of the university, so I already had a community coming in, but I can't imagine what it's like to move here without having that. So just to, I think just to list some of those resources, I might do that as well. But I'll probably need some additional help with that because I can only name the 3, but I'm sure there's so many. So
I think it's a great thought for sure. It's a good category to include.
Yeah. Okay. And is there any other, the Athena Award. So we had our meeting, and I don't know what day it is or what day yesterday was anymore. Time is like, doesn't exist. But it was our education and outreach committee meeting that happened at some point in the last 72 hours.
Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday?
Uh-huh.
And today's Thursday. God. Okay. I don't know where yesterday went. It like vanished. But okay, so we had our education and outreach meeting on Tuesday, and we made the decision to host the Athena Award entirely virtual. So it's likely going to be on Zoom. And we just figured that was not only the best decision to make for the participants and the recipients and the nominees, but just to set an example too, like we're leaders in the community, and, I think coming out with this announcement is going to, set a really good example. And also it's the day after Election Day, and we don't know what's going to happen, whether we're all going to have to go to the polls or, and how that's going to work. So, Dr. Lewis, I might need a refresher on the Communications Committee's role in the Athena Award, but we have a call to artists that we're hoping to get some submissions for. So, just a reminder to share that flyer, and I'll resend that. Just to share the flyer and to share the nomination form. I think nominations are due October 1st. So, just kind of spreading that far and wide. So
on the Athena Award, it's going to be on the government channel. Scott will host it for us. And of course, it'll be on Facebook and other social media. And so that way we'll get the word out so everyone will be, and we'll send certificates and all of that in advance so they'll have them once we call the finalist names. And then we'll figure out a way to get the award to, we usually try not to tell them if they've won. It's like the Academy Award. So we'll see how we still have to figure out some of the logistics.
Okay. Yeah.
I am glad to hear that it will be all virtual. I was going to suggest that we consider that tonight if that decision had not been made yet, given the uncertainty of everything. So I'm glad that decision was made. And things can be very intimate and engaging on Zoom, especially with the videos that were produced in the past. And so I think we can still make it a special event, even though it's all virtual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Claire did a great job last year of getting the photos of everyone, and then unbeknownst to Dr. Smith that he was the recipient, she got the video. And I think we can probably do the same thing again in some kind of way and show us a little bit of video of the person and what he or she does on a regular basis, distance, of course.
Right. Yes, I think, I mean, there's plenty of opportunity for us to get creative with this. So, yeah, I'm very excited to, be pouring our energy into, just a sound decision and yeah, just making it very engaging, like you said. So yeah. Anything else in the Athena Award? Okay, I think. Anything else for the good of the order?
So our next meeting is September the 10th.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
September the 10th at 5:30 via Zoom. And I'm going to make sure that I have all my ducks in a row to, that you guys all get the agenda and the schedule and that, Zoom happens and Scott knows. So, yeah, it's a learning process for me, but yeah, thankfully, Dr. Lewis is already so organized. It just makes things so much easier. So,
Area, you see how I sort of unloaded on Claire. I said,
and she just blossomed in this role. You did a fine job, Claire. So looking forward to future.
There was no stammering whatsoever.
Oh, Rose, I didn't catch that. I'm sorry. Your audio is lagging a little bit.
I said you did not stammer whatsoever.
Oh, good. Great, thank you. Okay, well, other than that, I think we're all good. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move.
All right.
Adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Let me know if you have any questions, but yeah, I hope you all have a good night.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Claire. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.